Hello. I would like to talk to everybody about a book, and it's called The Secret Doctrine by H.P. Blavatsky. H.P. stands for Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Uh, and with all the different things that you're seeing right now, a lot of different videos of people finding older truths or things that they were told their whole life didn't exist, that they do exist. This book is a really good reference to anybody seeking any kind of answers. Uh, Brief history. Uh, let's start at the beginning because that's where all best stories start, right? The predecessor of all religions. So this dates back before any kind of other religion, even before Sanskrit, like anything. So that's where we're going to be heading back to get all the knowledge from. And I think it's pretty evident that when we go back in time, we find that there seems to be more of a complete knowledge, or true knowledge was more available to everybody, more so than anything today. She was born in 1831. She died in 1891, so she lived to 60 years old. She started writing this book in 1885, and it was published in 1888. That in itself, just 3 years. And as you can see, I have many points. I mean, this bookmark is just for the part I need today, but I've got 9 other bookmarks throughout this book and points that I'm reading because it really truly is cornucopia of information. Um, the dedication of it, she says, this work, a dedicate to all theosophists in every country and of every race, for they called it forth, and for them it was recorded. And she states very plainly in the book when she's stating like a referenced fact, like this has been found by archaeologists, or this has been known in this certain aspect of cultures or religions. She states when she's stating fact, and she states when she's stating very plainly her opinion on things. And some things she just leaves completely up in the air for you to figure out for yourself. And Manly P. Hall quoted the book saying, in its pages, eternal mysteries are etched in ancient and modern terms, and those who have eyes to see, the ageless wisdom is revealed. And I think it's very interesting, the quote, those who have eyes to see. So if you know anything about Gnosticism, or any esoteric background, you know that there's certain ways of speaking to be able to convey a message to those that have ears to hear and eyes to see, rather than just anybody listening that would just get a completely different message. Um, her motto basically is there's no religion higher than truth. Um, and what I'm going to just talk about today are the actual chapters, because this is 2 volumes. She wrote 2 volumes to The Secret Doctrine, and she co-founded the um, Theosophist. I know I'm not saying that properly. Theosophist Society. So she's very knowledgeable, being the co-founder of it and all. She was born in Russia. She traveled the world. She'd been to India. She's been to America. She went to Israel. She's traveled all over, and I think that's really important. There's one little excerpt I'd like to read you before reading the stanzas of the chapters. It is perhaps desirable to state unequivocally that the teachings, however fragmentary and incomplete, contained within these volumes belong neither to the Hindu, the Zoroastrians, the Chaldeans, the Zoroastrians, the Chaldeans, nor the Egyptians. This neither belongs to the Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, nor Christianity exclusively. The secret doctrine is the essence of all these. Sprung from their origins, the various religion schemes are now made to merge back into their original element, out of which every mystery and dogma has grown, developed, and become materialized. So that's what I mean about getting back to the beginning. Where did everything come from? So often people get stuck in a religion, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think devotions and tenets and things that people live by keep them connected to the God within. And I think that's very important to have a relationship with that, even if you see it externally. But the fact that everything that is came from somewhere as well. So even if it branches off into a billion, the further back you go, the lines are gonna converge. You're gonna come back to where it all started. And that's what I really appreciate about this book is it's answered a lot of questions for me because so often even in the regions where we're born, we're brought up in cultures that are cut off from others. And there's so much to be gained because everyone seems to have like a fragmentary piece of the whole truth. Not that all religions are wrong or that any are wrong. I'm not saying that either. But what I'm saying is they all have the commonality of the original source. So without further ado, I'd like to read you the chapters. Um, the first the first one talks about the creation of the universe itself, not just our world, because there's a lot of debate on how old our world is. And I think the book very clearly states that the earth itself is 3+ billion years old. So it's like, okay, well, first you got to go back to the creation of what created the earth, right? So that's what these first ones stand. These first ones we're talking about cosmogenesis, and I think it's just kind of important to understand that's where we're going first. Eventually, we're going to get to the creation of the earth that we live on and stuff like that. So, um, first, you have the old MSS and the world and its symbolism. So MSS, like Sanskrit translations, papyri translations, things like that, like ancient knowledge is translated. One and the next one is one life, active and passive. The Secret Doctrine, pantheism and atheism, talks about both of those. Space in all religions and occultism. 7 cosmic elements, 7 races of mankind. The 3 postulates of the Secret Doctrine. Description of the stanzas from the Book of Denzian. So that's what you're going to be reading first. And now that's like your little uh, precursor to what's going to be the main beginning of these volumes. So there's several stanzas. And so like stanzas like your main topic, and then you have talking points within that, but they're all in the same chapter because they all relate to the same stanza. Okay, so the first stanza is the night of the universe. And I'm just gonna kind of do this to hold my thumb up. I don't know, what should I do to like separate it? Because I don't want to be like, and next, and next. It seems kind of, I'll just do this. I'll just put up like a couple fingers. Okay, so first you got the 7 entities, time, the universal mind, and the Dayan Korhans. The universal mind, oh, I already said, sorry. Nidana and Maya, the causes of misery, the great breath, being and non-being, the eye of Dagma, so it'll explain that part. Alaya and the universal soul. Oh, Alaya, the universal soul. And then we have stanza 2. The absolute knows itself not. The germ of life was not yet. The universe was still concealed in the divine thought. Stanza 3. The awakening of cosmos. Sorry, I forgot to say the number of stanza 2 is the idea of differentiation. Okay, stanza 3. The awakening of cosmos. The great vibration. Nature's symbols. Power of numbers. The logi and the dragon. The astral light. Primeval radiations from unity. The web of beginning. Conscious electricity. Fohat. So you might be like, I'm not really understanding a lot of the things that I'm saying. And that's okay. Always be open about the things you don't know, because only when we express a desire to learn can we expand ourselves. And I think one of the bravest things we can do is say we don't know something. I know a lot of these things might sound foreign to you, but they all have to do with the creation of the world that we're on. It all has to do with the creation of the universe we exist in, multiple cosmos, not just ours, but like the whole universal, millions and billions of galaxies, and there's a lot to it. So each one of these chapters touches on that to kind of bring you into a like, this is what this is, this is what this is. So don't feel like you're going to be jumping into a book that's going to be a completely foreign language to you. She takes the time to explain these things, which is really fortunate for someone like me that didn't have a vast knowledge of a bunch of different cultures. And you have to remember, you have to put yourself back in 1888 was when it was published. So you have to put yourself back in the mindset of that time as well. They had a bit more complete knowledge than we have right now. Okay, stanza 4. The septenary septen septenary hierarchs. I wrote that down. Septenary. Okay, so septenary is the primary number of 7 in manifested cosmology. So the hierarchy of theosophy. So um, divine numbers, sacred geometry, things like that. She's going to talk a bit like that. So the hierarchies of that. So you have the sons of fire, the vehicle of the universe, the Daihan. Oh, wait, no, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to edit this because I don't know how. So there's just going to be mistakes. That's the human element, I guess. So sorry. We're going, yeah, that was the septenary hierarchy. So stanza 5, we're doing when we ended with, no, we didn't do that one yet, did we? Okay, yeah, number 4, I'm sorry. The septenary hierarchies. We have the son of fire, the vehicle of the universe, which is the Dahan Kwans, the army of the voice, speech and mind, the Ogdod and Heptat, the stellar sons of light. Stanza 5, the Fohat, the child of septenary hierarchies. So these are so when you have the 7 hierarchies, you're going to have the branching off, so coming down. Because what you're doing is just starting at original source where everything comes from. That's what's really neat about this book. Best place to start. So it's at the beginning, right? Okay, so stanza 5, Fohat, the child of the septenary hierarchies. We have the fiery whirlwind and the primordial 7. They produce Fohat, the correlation of the gods, evolution of the principles of nature, the mystery of fire, the secret of elements, the square of the tabernacle, the planetary spirits of the Lipica, the ring pass not, the sidereal book of life, the soul's pilgrimage and its rest. So that's stanza 5. Stanza 6, our world, its growth and development. So now we're going to talk about Earth. The Logos, the mystery of the female Logos, the 7 Layu centers, the elementary germs, the evolution of the elements, the building of worlds, a neutral center, dead planets, the moon. Okay, and then within this 6th stanza, there's 2 substanzas. So here's the first substanza, is theosophical misconceptions. The planetary divisions and the human principle, the moon, transmigrations of the ego, the septenarian chain, relations of the other planets to Earth. And then the third substanza is explanations concerning the globes and the monads, the lunar chain and the earth chain, the earth and the earth, the child of the moon, classifications of monads, the monad definition, the lunar monads, the pitris, the triple evolution of nature. Okay, and then this is the wrap up of the stanzas. So the last part of stanza 6. Creation in the fourth round, the curse, sin, and war, the struggle for life and birth of the worlds, the Adeptus and the sacred island. Okay, stanza 7, the parent of man and earth. And divisions of the hierarchies, correlations of beginnings, what incarnates an animal man, formation of man, the tinker, occult and kabbalistic pneumatics, akasa and ether, the invisible lives, occult vital chemistry and bacteriology, the watcher and his shadow, earth people by the shadows of the gods. I'm probably not enjoying looking at the top of my head as I read, but it is what it is. Okay, so in the end, there's not a last part of the stanza, but this is called the summoning up. So you have the pith, the marrow of the secret doctrine, the pith and marrow of the secret doctrine. So like the meat and the bones of it, obviously the pith and marrow, meat and bones. Hermes in Christian garb, some occult aphorisms, sorry. The seven powers of nature. Okay, so this is we're getting ready to start book. We're still on book 1, but this is part 2 of book 1. She wrote a lot. She wrote 2 books, and this is like, oh, she wrote 1 book in 2 parts. No, we're coming up to book 2 here in a minute. Book 1 has 3 parts to it, so it's really the amount of information she was able to do in just 3 years is really neat. Okay, so we got book 1, part 2, the evolution of symbolism and its approximate order. So number 1, symbolism in ideographs. You have emblem and symbol differ. Magic potency of sound. Mystery language. Chapter 2, mystery language and its keys. Egypt's many religions. The Jews and their system. Moses copied from Sargon. Identity of ancient symbols. Chapter 3, primordial substance, the divine thought. Divine thought and centurious matter, ether and intelligence, the 7 pactris, the mystic fire, one tree of knowledge. Chapter 4, chaos, theos, cosmos, the union of cosmos and spirit, the birth of mind. I have a drink of water real quick. My mouth's getting a little parched. All right. 5, the hidden deities and its symbols and glyphs. The Gnostic idea, internal correlation of gods. And the reason I'm not really delving into any of these individual topics is because if I did, that'd be really long. I'd like to do maybe smaller videos in the future that touch on these topics. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically reading you like the synopsis of what's to come. Is that what that was called? No, that wasn't what it was called. Syllabus. It's called a syllabus. But anyway, number 6, the mundane egg. Egg-born Logi, the winged globe. Number 7, days and nights of Brahma. Human god and divine men, the rebirth of gods, the Puranic prophecy. Number 8, the lotus is a universal symbol. Exoteric and esoteric, the purity of early phallicism, the Egyptian lotus. Number 9, Deus Lunus, a glance at the lunar myth, a keynote to the moon, copies and originals, the moon bisexual. Number 10, tree and serpent and crocodile worship, degeneration of the symbol, the 7-headed dragon, dragons and the crocodiles. Number 11, Demon es Deus Inversus, Life and Death, The Fall of the Angels, Transformation of the Legend. Number 12, The Theogony of the Creative Gods, The Point Within the Circle, the Logos or Verbum, the Factors of Creation, Identity of the Hierarchies in all religions, Differences between Aran and the Semitic systems. Number 13, The Seven Creations, the Gnostic and Hindu versions, the seven Puranic creations. Number 14, The Four Elements, the gods and the elements, the language of the elements, pagan and Christian worship of the elements. Hold on. Number 15, on Quan Shi Yin and Kuan Yin. Quan Shi Yin and phallicism, the real meaning. Now this is the last part, so this is like book 2, so this would be considered part 3. Science and the Secret Doctrine contrasted. So again, chapters, I'm going to number them again. So 1, reasons for these edenia. Occultisms versus materialism. I know, that's the grumblings of my duchy. She's vocal. And then the bells are being rung by Shep and Archer. They grumble. So occultism versus materialism, I stated. The Sabbath of the mystic. Number 2, modern physicists are playing at a blind man's bluff. That's the whole chapter. I'm pretty sure that was one of my favorite. Anyway, number 3, Illuminant Sit Corpus Necton. The hypothetical ether, scientific theories of its constitution. Number 4, is gravitation a law? Intelligence or blind forces, the causes of attraction. Number 5, the theories of rotation in science. Conflicting hypotheses, more hypotheses. Number 6, the masks of science. What are the forces? The view of the occultist, scientific and occultist theories on heat, the atoms of science. Does it look like I'm okay? I hope it doesn't look like I'm ever flipping off. I'm using 2 fingers to like emphasize the sub chapters. Oh, a little bird flew by my window. It caught my attention. Number 7, an attack on the scientific theory of force by a man of science, ether and atoms. Number 8, life force or gravity. Dr. Richardson's on nerves, ether, the senses and their action. Too much life may kill. Chapter 9, the solar theory. The primordial element, elements and their meta-elements, the tree of life and beginning, Professor Crookes and the elements. Number 10, the coming force, Mr. Keeley and the unconscious occultist, interetheric waves, the secrets of sound and odor. Number 11, on the elements and atoms, metaphysical chemistry, what are the 7 planets, the cyclic fall of the gods. Number 12, ancient thoughts in modern dress, all potential unity, the 7th in chemistry. Number 13, the modern nebular theory. Forces are emanations. What is the nebula? Number 14, forces, modes of motion or intelligences, the vital principle, occult and physical science. Number 15, gods, monads, and atoms. The gods of the ancient, the monads and the duad, the genesis of the elements, Hermes and Huxley, the teaching of Leibniz, the monads according to occultism. Number 14. Cyclic evolution and karma. Karmic cycles and the universal ethics. Destiny and karma. Karma nemesis. Sorry, 16, 17. I'm sorry. I'm reading them in Roman numerals, so sometimes I'm just like, so sorry, it takes me a little bit of time. I'm on 18. The zodiac and its antiquity. The Jewish patriarchs of the signs of the zodiac. Zodiacal cycles. Hindu astronomy. That was number 17. So number 18. Summary of mutual position. Science confesses her ignorance. Materialism is leading Europe towards a catastrophe. One moment. I just gotta let Mr. Richard out. Be stay. Okay. Stay with me. And then there's a glossary as well in the back. And some of the pages, so throughout the book, she also, if you can see down below, I don't know if you can see down below, there's references throughout the entire book. So when she's stating like actual fact or text, something that's tangible knowledge that's like irrefutable, she'll state those things. And when she does, she lists references to where you can find all those things. I think that's really important because I really do think that doing your own research is your best bet of accumulating all things that you can, not to just typecast yourself to one form of knowledge. Anyway, I know it took a while to get through. Thank you. And like I said, in the future, I'd like to do some shorter videos on some of those chapters. Now, if there's one that caught your attention in particular and you'd like to know a little bit about it, I'd love to have discussions. I'd love to talk about it. Like I said, I'm at 9 different points in this book, all of which are just so intriguing. So I appreciate you here. Mainly made this because I hope the overconsciousness Q could hear me. Hopefully this touched someone in a good way.